I'm Bill Connerly. I'm the leader of the outreach team here at Castine Church, and I'm here today with Steve and Alberta Knudtsen. And they have been spending many years in South Asia and Thailand as with Bethany Gateways as regional member coordinators. Can you tell me a little bit about what you did in Thailand and how many years you were there?
Okay. Well, we were in Thailand about 8 years, and our work was fourfold: screening new missionaries, assessing them for their fit in the mission area there in South Asia, and then we oversaw a network of member care coordinators, and so each of these people were assigned just to keep in touch with the people on their ministry areas. And then we would check in with them, and if there was anything brewing, anything going on that needed more attention, then we just got involved in a pastoral care sense. We would also speak at conferences, seminars, retreats, just to bring encouragement or teaching to the missionaries. And then we got involved in crisis whenever they came up. Sometimes we would handle that over the phone or on the internet. Sometimes we actually had to go to the ministry site somewhere in Asia and just be on the ground with them.
Well, as we've discussed it on past discussions ourselves, you guys are moving into the golden years, just as I am, and your ministry has made some major changes. And you've relocated to states, I believe Tennessee, and you are now part of TEAM, capital T-E-A-M. What is TEAM and what are your new roles?
Okay. So TEAM is the Evangelical Alliance Mission.
Okay.
While we were on loan while we were in Thailand, now we are actually full members of TEAM, and we do part-time work for them in member care, again, along the same lines of the things that I discussed earlier. But what has been a new involvement for us is our actual mission, Bethany Gateways, has been building up their member care department. And so we're helping them to develop that by doing consulting work with them.
So consulting with local ministries has been a challenge in itself, and you're working to develop member care for national missions. Do you have an example of how this works?
Sure. So just before we left Asia, we sat down with some church leaders in India who are sending missionaries, and they wanted some help. How do we care for our missionaries? And so the tools are a little bit different than what we would consider in the West, but it just goes to show that other nations are now starting to send missionaries. And just recently, just about a week ago, we consulted with a couple in Malawi, in Africa, who, again, are forming national missions, and they want to send out missionaries, and they want to take care of them. So we're getting, Bethany has about 25 global partners.
Okay.
And so we feel like we're on the uptick of involvement in helping national missions to develop member care.
Sounds good. So back in the States with the COVID pandemic, your communication world has become more Zoom, email, etc. And Alberta, you mentioned to me that you've kind of just stayed in your condo since you've moved back and haven't been around.
That's right.
So how has this affected your ministry?
Well, it's rather interesting because the Zoom platform has really grown, but we've already used Skype as well as Zoom in the past, and other platforms where we can communicate with people, and so that's not new to us. It has grown a lot. One of the platforms we use is called WhatsApp, and that platform actually allows us to send PowerPoints and documents to the people we're training. So we've actually sent some to a young man on the Bhutanese border who we're also involved with, and we can send these kinds of things so they actually have documents in their hands when we've done training.
So do you feel you're able to touch more people than you were before when you were on foot in Thailand?
Well, actually, we traveled a lot to these different countries, so I don't know that we're reaching more, but we have the ability to send information, and so we train by, virtual training. We see them, but then we additionally send documents as well, so they can go back to that information.
Good. So we've talked about a few things about what you're doing and how the changes is. Is there anything you would like to tell the church or the people out there about your mission or missionary work or anything that we haven't discussed here?
Well, first of all, we just want to say thank you. I mean, this work would not have been possible without the church's involvement in many ways. And we consider it a partnership. So this is the work of the church as well as
Right.
ours. We've been out there, but everyone else has been here. And that will continue. And so we covet your prayers because this training nationals is new to us. And that will be growing. We don't know how much it will grow, but we're excited about that, seeing the churches multiply through this kind of thing where a national begins a sending agency to send people to other nations.
Good.
And that's just really exciting to us.
We had talked earlier sometime that, the retirement thing is sometime down the road. And when you come back from Thailand, you thought that might be visible, but now from what you're telling me, it's a long way off.
We want to stay active as long as we
Good.
can in God's kingdom, and we have experience. We have things that we've learned along the way, and we want to share them with people.
That's great. That's great. Well, we are blessed, and we thank you for serving, and we're glad to support you. And if anybody in our congregation would like to know more information, we have your card on the our outreach wall. It has all that information, and your contact information is there. You have a blog, and so many other ways that they can contact you. And again, we thank you very much for serving, and we really appreciate you working with Castine.